should be ready to accept what you are, what your talent is, what your behavior is. पहले खुद का acceptance है, दूसरा है confirm करो. जैसे कि आपको UPSC का नंबर मिल गया, रैंक मिल गया, then your training at Labasna, that will clearly set the tone for how you will become an officer in the future. In NPS, you will take anybody's help. NGO, civil society organization, private player, anybody and everybody. Whatever problem you have, the policy you have, and politics, everything comes together. Income tax officers, etc. are generally given targets. Even GST departments are also given targets. They have to achieve the targets. Based on that, small rewards are given. Similarly, punishments are also given. All right, people, we are back with the final part of paper 1. I know there was considerable delay from my end, but very sorry, back-to-back commitments, official commitments. But don't worry, paper 2 also I will be uploading back-to-back now. I'm not going to delay it any further. I know exam is around the corner and you need the rapid revision. So without any further delay, getting right into it. So last class, basically, I have stopped at Chris Argyris. I was about to start that and then I stopped it. Very quickly, let us see. He talks about the immaturity-maturity continuum, which is very similar to theory X and theory Y. Importance of interpersonal competence is very essential. And how can you achieve it? Through self-acceptation or acceptance. That is, you should be ready to accept what you are, what your talent is, what your behavior is. पहले खुद का एक्सेप्टेंस है, दूसरा है कंफर्म करो जो आप आपके बारे में जो सोच रहे हैं क्या वो सही है या नहीं. Whatever you're thinking about yourself, is it right or wrong? You may feel you are a great individual, great person, you can do any work, etc. But is it very true in a setting of an office or a personal setup? Finally, the essentiality of having certain traits. कुछ traits होना बहुत बहुत जरूरी है. There are 4 types of behavior. Developing things. First is owning it. That is owning what you are, being open to learn, experimenting new behaviors, and finally helping other people to develop the right behavior for the job. Alternative organizational structures, which is very similar again what we saw earlier. That is, you have a pyramidal structure, basically the classical era. The modified organizational structure, which is again the proper hierarchy. But यहाँ पर थोड़ा बहुत बातचीत आप कर सकते हैं. You can share your opinions here. The next one is the participative structure, where everything is like, totally you can share your opinion, etc. You are also taking part in the decision making. Then finally, you have the matrix organization, where you will be having more than one boss. That is, it's all horizontally also you have a boss, vertically also you have a boss. So one is with the structural part, the other is with the functional part. Finally, you have T groups. T groups are basically training groups that are used in an organization to basically develop certain types of behavior. Then organizational learning, you have single loop learning and double loop learning. Single loop learning means one scheme, let us say it is there, you are making small changes to it. So you want to reduce poverty. So what do? Okay, National Food Security Mission. Under that, you made one nation, one ration card so that even migrant laborers can access food. That is one thing. Double loop learning means what? Double loop learning means you're literally going into overhauling the whole system. You're trying to find out, okay, we need something totally new here. This is not working. पुराने तरीके से जो भी आप कर रहे थे वो अभी काम नहीं चलेगा. So you bring something totally new into it. Say for example, the aspirational district program by Niti Aayog, where 112 districts, very backward districts have been selected and they have been given targets to come up. Performance-based reward is given. Clear? Moving on. Rensis Likert, interaction influence system is based upon goals, values, and the groups. Members are driven. Experience of employees is used in decision making. Management styles, again very similar to exploitative authority, that is pyramid structure. Benevolent authority, that is, it is still exploitative, but some amount of consultation is there. Then consultative management, that is like participatory organization. Complete involvement, everyone is involved. Best example is ISRO. And finally, participative management, that is total involvement is there. Total involvement of everybody. System 1 to system 4 is a continuum. That is, any organization may start from exploitative authority and finally they may reach into what? Participative management. So participative management, when we talk about in Indian terms, you have civil society organizations, NGOs, सब मिलकर काम कर रहे हैं. ठीक है? So that is participative. Human asset accounting, you have causal variables and intervening variables. Causal variables, when you say, these are variables that are important at the time of recruitment. जैसे कि आपको यूपीएससी का नंबर मिल गया, रैंक मिल गया, then your training at Labasna, that will clearly set the tone for how you will become an officer in the future. Then you have intervening variables. ये intervening variables क्या है? ऐसा नहीं है कि Labasna खत्म, then everything will become smooth. No. In between, you need to give mid-career training is also needed so as to keep the motivation of the officers very high. Finally, you have what? For managing conflicts, use system 4 for win-win, which is what? Participative management. Then you have the linking pin model. Linking pin model simply means one who is a superior in one organization is actually a subordinate in another organization. That means the district collector could be the king of a district, but in the larger scheme of things, district collector is only what? District collector is only one among the many districts in the country. Getting the point? Just one hissa hai. District mein maybe you are the Raja, you are the Queen, Rani. That is agreed. But in the whole scheme of things, when you look at Indian bureaucracy as such, you are just one among the many IAS officers. Kuch khas nahi hai. Got it? Moving on. Coming to paradigms, P1. Paradigm 1 talks about the politics administration dichotomy, which started from 1887 with Woodrow Wilson's essay. That idea remained in existence till 1926. Paradigm 2 talks about the principles of public administration, which existed from 1927 to 1937. That means there are certain principles of administration which can be applied universally. The thinkers like Gulick and Ervik, Fayol, one best method, all this comes over there. Then the challenge period is considered to be 1938 to 1950, where there was this whole confusion that what is the true identity of public administration. Because be it the principles theory or be it the politics administration dichotomy, both were found to be insufficient for the problems that were existing in the third world countries, especially after the time period, after the Second World War, etc. And if public administration was really good, then why couldn't it avoid these wars? All these questions basically put a question mark on the identity, the true identity of public administration. And then you had paradigm 3 and paradigm 4 almost around the same time period, 1950 to 1970, which was public administration merging back with political science, or public administration should be run as a management, basically for profit, or basically worried about who should run the government, what should be the concern of public administration. But this finally ended, evaporation was averted between 1965 and 75, which is what? Public administration should exist as public administration only. That is, it is neither about who will run the government, neither about profit. Public administration is all about what? How are you going to run it? And it should be for the public, the welfare of the public. P6 is about governance, which started from 1990 to present. And now, and going by the trend now, we can basically say governance, it is agreed. But as a new paradigm, you can basically say what? The days are not far where you will be basically having social media governance. Social media governance will come into existence. Definitely it will come into existence. That is the next stage of it. Obviously, because I'm citing the example what Chandrababu Naidu, the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, said, that is the caste and income certificate will be issued through WhatsApp henceforth. So days are not far away where we will be giving review through our Instagram, or we will be getting the services from the government through our social media feeds. Getting the point here, people? Moving further. Very quickly, difference between classical theory, new public management and new public service. Classical theory was basically political theory that emphasized on social and political commentary, augmented by poor social science, because they did not actually consider about the nitty-gritties of society. Sab ek structure ke zariye, they just made a structure. That's it. NPM basically focused on economic theory based on positivist social science. Positivist means what? Based on data. Because NPM's only focus was profit making. So therefore, they only focused on data-based administration. Coming to NPS, it was democratic theory where varied approaches was taken for knowledge. That means NPS, the key element there was to serve the people. For that, what theories has to be used? बाद में models of human behavior. Classical theory focused on administrative man. Because you are only going to do what? You're only, बस आप क्या करोगे? आप सिर्फ और सिर्फ orders को follow करोगे. NPM, no doubt about it, you are the bureaucrat was the economic man whose only concern was what? Profit. Lekin, when it comes to NPS, it is strategic rationality, multiple tests of rationality. मतलब आप सिर्फ ऑर्डर्स को नहीं फॉलो करेंगे, सिर्फ प्रॉफिट ही नहीं देखेंगे, आप सारे एंगल से देखेंगे कि किसका नुकसान होगा, किसका भलाई. That is, you are supposed to have a multifarious viewpoint here when you are a bureaucrat under new public service. You have to see who it is going to get benefited, whom it will affect. Conception of the public interest, politically defined and expressed in law, whereas NPM, that is, it is clearly defined. Law will tell you what are the do's and don'ts. What about NPM? It is the aggregation of individual interests. That is, whatever the individuals want, only that will be provided by the government. Bureaucrats has to give maximum preference to the individuals there. Then dialogue about shared values. When it comes to NPS, it is all about what? The collective interest of the society. To whom are public servants responsive? Public servants are responsive to the clients and constituents. They are responsive. That is, clients and constituents, whatever they say, bureaucracy will act as a bridge and convey to the politicians. Their only job is just convey. In NPM, you are concerned about your customers. In NPS, you are concerned about citizens. So here you are serving citizens here. Not clients, not customers, nothing. Okay. Role of the government is only rowing under classical theory. Role of the government. Here it is steering. That is lesser regulation. Whereas in NPS, it is serving. Mechanisms for achieving policy objectives. Through existing government agencies, you will get it done. Under NPM, it is through what? Obviously through private and non-profit agencies. In NPS, you will take anybody's help. NGOs, civil society organization, private player, anybody and everybody. Approach to accountability. It is hierarchical. Obviously, you are directly answerable only to your politicians there. Under NPM, it is market driven. Demand and supply. That is, if you are inefficient, if you are not generating profit, you will be held accountable for it. Under NPS, it is multifaceted. That means from media to politicians to citizens to NGOs to civil society organizations to private players, you are answerable to all. You cannot actually act there, oh, I am the collector, I will do anything that I want. You cannot do that. This is where we are all standing today. And now it is going to become, the scrutiny is all the more because, like I told you, always the collectors or basically the civil servants as such are today under social media scrutiny. So it is not at all a far-fetched idea to say that we have moved on to the next stage or the next stage of public administration, which is social media governance armed with AI. Got it? Moving on. Administrative discretion. Under classical theory, you don't have much freedom. You're only supposed to focus on your orders. Here, you have the freedom under NPM. All the freedom you have, whatever will bring what? Profit to the government. Whereas, here under NPS, you have freedom, but you are highly monitored, scrutinized. You are held accountable. Assumed organizational structure. Here it is pure bureaucratic. That means like a pyramid it is. Decentralized public organizations you have here. That means you have multiple organizations here. Power is not concentrated at a single center. Here it is collaborative structures. That means everybody are there, but they are all interlinked like one big chain. Assumed motivational basis of public servants and administrators. Here it is strictly classical theory. It is all about pay and benefits. Here it is entrepreneurial spirit. Basically, more profit. NPS, it is all about public service. Clear, people? What are the goals of NPA? Relevance, value, equity, change. Then client focus as well as manager-worker relations. Public choice theory. James Buchanan, famous for two things, politics as exchange and economic constitutionalism. Anthony Downs basically talked about climbers. Climbers are who wants career growth. Conservers will never change anything. Zealots, advocates, and then finally statesmen. If you are unable to recall what these are, quickly go through the main theory once again. Coming back, William Niskanen talked about stricter control, competition, privatization, and dissemination. Winston Ostrom talked about decentralization, debureaucratization. Patrick Dunleavy talked about the bureau shaping model. Moving on, systems theory. Systems theory is all about interaction, where you have the derivatives are input output, structural functional, and cybernetics. Input output theory was given by David Easton to explain political systems. Structural functional theory was given by Gabriel Almond, which talked about system maintenance and regulation. Cybernetics was given by Carl Deutsch, which talks about communication and control, the whole feedback mechanism, etc. That was mentioned. F.W. Riggs, his theory came around post World War II. Systems theory talks about whole and its entities and its interaction through input output, structural functional, and cybernetics, and then ecological approach. That means ecological approach actually comes under systems theory. Then F.W. Riggs gave his first theory, which is Agraria Transitia Industria, which later, first he gave Agraria Industria, later he gave Agraria Transitia Industria, which he later changed into what? Fused, prismatic, and diffracted. Where the type of bureaucracies in each was fused had court, prismatic had sala, diffracted had bureau type. Then within that again he gave EO, ortho, neo. That is the level to which diffraction and integration has taken place. What is diffraction? You have separate bodies for separate activities, like ED for money laundering, NIA for terrorism. The next question is how well it is integrated. That is, to what extent ED and NIA are cooperating with each other to prevent financial terrorism as well as terrorism as such. They are all well coordinated. A similar example of a very good coordination happening between two agencies will be currently CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes, and Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. CBIC sharing their GST data with CBDT, and so is CBDT sharing their data with the GST. That is the reason, one more reason why GST collections have gone up. Alright, EO, ortho, neo. This simply shows the different levels to which diffraction and integration has taken place. Finally, Agraria Transitia Industria, again, okay, same thing only, same point. Policy models, there's a systems model which we already saw. Then institutional model is there, rational model is there, incremental model is there, Lindblom, which is muddling through. What is this muddling through? Muddling through means somehow going through. You make only small changes in the existing policy, not any major changes. Then you have an elite model, which is exclusively meant for the elite class. Then you have the public choice model, which is very much which is nothing but public choice theory. Public choice theory, public choice model, both are one and the same. Don't forget that. All right, people. Moving on. Okay. Now, very quickly, each of these theory, what is the core focus, and an example from public sector. Let us see. Institutional theory, policies are shaped by the structure, rules, and norms of institutions. That is, what is the, according to that institution, the type of policy will be made. How is the structure? Based on that, policy will be made. Focus, like role of legislatures, executives, courts, and bureaucracy. Example is parliamentary committees shaping educational policy or any policy. Even parliamentary committees making suggestions with regard to one nation, one election. Group theory. Policy is the result of bargaining among interest groups. Group theory. It is pluralism where the government acts as a mediator. Best example, Manipur conflict, Metis and Cookies. Farmers groups influencing MSP decisions or even the 3 farm laws. The current demand, 3 farm laws is old news now, but basically there is a demand that the MSP needs to be legalized. Elite theory, small elite makes key decisions serving their own interests. Elite, that is the rich, influential, powerful people of the country, a small group, they will decide how the country should be run. Power concentration in elite groups, economic reforms driven by top bureaucrats and corporate leaders. You can put it up that way. Alright, ideally, there is no example for it, but you can put it up like alleged. That is, there is this big allegation that a few business families in the country, they actually run the country. 9 business families, they are the ones who are actually running the country as per media reports. You are not naming any family, you are not shaming any family, but you are writing it that there is this allegation in the media that this. But ultimately the point here is, obviously what are you going to write? There is no such elite theory in our country. We run this country based on only one rule, and that is democracy. Clear? Rational comprehensive theory selects best option after full analysis of alternatives. That is what your rational theory means. Best option after full analysis of alternatives. It is logical cost benefit decision making. For example, metro project feasibility studies. Whether a project can be carried out or not, you take that decision after doing its cost benefit analysis and whether or not it is beneficial for the society. Incrementalism. Policy changes in small gradual steps. Political feasibility and minimal disruption. That is small changes you make to it so that it doesn't create a big jhatka. That is the idea behind it. Best example is gradual GST rate adjustments. Systems theory. Inputs, demands are placed on the political system and the political system will produce its outputs. That is the policy. Interaction of society, government and environment. Climate policy shaped by public opinion and global treaties. Public choice theory. Politicians or bureaucrats act in self-interest like market players. Focuses on efficiency, incentive and trade-off. Privatization of public services. Air India. Game theory. Strategic decisions considering actions of others based on negotiation, cooperation and conflict, like interstate water sharing agreements, or even where you have competition to attract FDI investments. Say for example, now there is a ongoing competition between, let us say, Pune, Hyderabad, Bengaluru, Chennai, Mumbai to attract IT related investments. There is an ongoing competition. That is based again on game theory. Mixed scanning model combines big picture rationality with incremental steps. Strategic plus gradual decision making. National education policies phased implementation. That is two things. Small, big picture also you will look into. You will make small changes also. So big picture is what new education policy, a complete revamp of the educational system which is much needed. But why are we making small tweaks in the policy, small changes in it? The controversy surrounding the implementation of the third language, the 3-language policy. Multiple streams model, Kingdom. Change when problem, policy and politics streams align. That is policy windows and timing. Telemedicine policy post-COVID. So multiple streams model simply means whatever problem you have, the policy you have and politics, everything comes together. That is, everything is in sync here. So what is the best example for it? Telemedicine. Why are you bringing telemedicine? Because obviously it is very difficult to get doctors in rural area. That is the problem here. What is the politics involved? You have to provide health services, otherwise there is no other go. What is the other problem? The policy related problem here. It is not actually easy to start hospitals in almost all the rural areas because it involves huge money. But how can you still offer the service? Telemedicine. Advocacy coalition framework. Coalitions with shared beliefs drive change over time. Policy subsystems and alliances. Renewable energy policy pushed by green coalitions. So advocacy coalition framework, when you talk about it, is basically an advocacy group will be there. They advocate something. Okay, green energy, don't cut trees. Such things. So for them, you make the policy. They actually represent a policy. So, example, renewable energy. Coming to the different hierarchy theories, motivational theories, Maslow's we have already discussed and so is Herzberg. What about McClellan's needs theory? Motivation is driven by 3 major needs, 3 learned theories. Need for achievement, need for power and need for affiliation. Why are these learned theories? Because these don't come naturally. Naturally, these won't come. This will only come when you look at other people, how powerful they are, how much they are achieving, and how they are well connected. Leadership selection and team placement. There you can use it. Assign high achievers to policy innovation teams. What about Alderfer's ERG theory? ERG theory is again nothing but a build-up and an offshoot of motivational theory of Maslow. So existence needs are there, relatedness needs are there, growth needs are there. That is what ERG theory is about. But unlike Maslow's theory, which talks about prepotency of needs, that is, things will go one by one, ERG theory basically tells that it can exist simultaneously. That is, simultaneously it is possible for an individual to have existence, relatedness, and all growth needs also. It is not necessary that one lower level need has to be satisfied to go to a higher level need. And again, when he talks about growth needs, he doesn't put any constraint. And he also talks about one thing. He also talks about a frustration regress. That is, after a point, it is possible that a person will get tired of things and will feel that enough is enough. I want something very basic now. How IT engineers, they resign their job and they finally go and set up a small home in a farmland. They will do farming there. Then they will teach their child at home itself. No more school, nothing. Mid-career training, growth alongside stable salaries. Vroom's expectancy theory, where motivation is equal to expectancy into instrumentality into valence. What is expectancy? Expectancy simply means for the work that I am doing, how much reward I will get. That reward, how valuable it is. Valence, whether I like the reward or whether I don't like it. It can be positive or negative. Best use linking performance to clear rewards. Performance-based incentives for the municipal staff. This generally will work for Group C as well as Group D employees. To some extent, B also. For them, you need this actually. Because they are the ones who are least motivated. Group A level, central government employees, IAS officers, for them, this is not required because they are driven by higher things. Adams equity theory. People compare input-output fairness with others. That is for the work that I put in, how much reward I got. Why did that person get more promotion than me or more salary than me? Even though both of us, he worked lesser than me, he got higher salary. Why? That is the issue here. This helps in ensuring fairness in promotions. Transparent promotion policy in civil service. Generally, you will not find this Adams equity theory. Generally, this issue will not come in government service. Why? Because more or less everybody will end up putting only same efforts. Like how other people have always kept on telling, that is 90% of government work goes in for routine work only. And you don't have any reward if you work extra. So because of that, what happens is generally civil servants, even though initially everybody is charged, after 4 or 5 years of service, what they will realize, any which way, I am also going to get the same salary. Any which way, I am also going to get the same promotion. So why should I work so hard? The work is over, I'll go home. Or if there is no necessity for me to do anything extra, because I'm not going to get rewarded, I won't do it. Locke's goal setting theory. Specific challenging goals improve performance. Target-driven public programs. Example, Swachh Bharat targets for cleanliness index. Skinner's reinforcement theory. Skinner's reinforcement theory simply talks about giving reward to encourage a behavior or punishment to discourage a behavior. Training and discipline programs reward punctual officers, penalize absenteeism. That is what you have today is what? Aadhaar based biometric attendance in all the government offices to ensure that government employees comes to the office at 9:30 a.m. Self-determination theory. Self-determination theory is not anything about external. It is all about internal. That is, people need autonomy. That is independence, competence, the necessary skill, capability, and relatedness for motivation. That is, you should feel that, okay, I'm doing this for my organization, for your colleagues, all of that. It is good for employee empowerment and innovation, giving officers decision-making powers in projects. That is a reason why people actually love IAS, IPS. That is the main reason. Because you have a lot of discretionary powers there, independence there in making decisions. Job characteristics model given by Hackman and Oldham. Motivation depends upon the job design, the variety, how significant it is, how much of freedom you have, and what type of feedback you get. Is very good for redesigning bureaucratic roles for engagement. Rotating officers across departments for skill variety. Like I told you, by the end of 20 years of your service, you would have easily served in multiple and different departments, which will actually improve your skill. Positive organizational behavior, which focuses on strengths, optimism, resilience to boost performance. Change management and reforms, recognizing and celebrating innovative governance ideas. That is, positive organizational behavior is basically about recognizing that part of the behavior which actually can be replicated in other areas, inculcated in other areas. So whatever maybe an IAS officer does, let's say Armstrong Palme constructing a 100-kilometer road, that is something which can be replicated. The midday meal scheme which was started in the state of Tamil Nadu, later Supreme Court also said replicated everywhere else. Public service motivation, individuals driven by the desire to serve the public good. Civil service recruitment and retention, hiring people with strong community commitment. Now coming to various leadership theories. Trait theory. Trait theory basically says that leadership is a trait that you get naturally. Integrity, charisma, intelligence. Selecting leaders with high public trust. Choosing an election commission head known for integrity. Right now, election commission is in the news for all the wrong reasons. So high time maybe we had somebody at ECI who is known for their integrity and has a no-nonsensical attitude to any allegations or any sort of criticism is made on them, immediately gives a strong and a proper response. High time. Behavioral theory. Leadership is about what leaders do, the task versus people orientation. Improving team performance through management style, that is municipal commissioner balancing deadlines and employee morale. Behavioral theory, that is your behavior basically. How the behavior can be influenced in such a way that targets are also met, people, the employees are also happy. Basically, the behavioral school of thinkers, Bernard, Simon, zone of indifference, zone of acceptance. Contingency theory, no single style fits all. Effectiveness depends on situational factors. Almost the same thing what Mary Parker Foley also told. That is, leadership should depend on the situation. Crisis versus stable governance environment. In the class, basically, I gave you the example of Tukaram Omble. Nobody told him, give him any official order. Just a constable. I think posthumous he was given ASI. ASI rank, that is Assistant Sub-Inspector. Nobody gave him any order. Go and catch those terrorists. No. He ran, armed only with a lathi. So that is a clear example of what? Contingency theory. He took the leadership there. District magistrate changing approach during the floods. Situational leadership. Adapt style based on followers' maturity and competence. Mixed skill teams in public project. Health officer directing new recruits, delegating to experts. So situational leadership and contingency. Why? What is the difference here? Contingency generally has an emergency nature to it. Situation also, it is almost the same. But the difference here is that you are also looking into what? The whole environment aspect there. That is your followers' maturity and what they are capable of. And accordingly, you are making the change. Participative leadership involves others in decision making. Policy formulation and local governance. Citizens included in participatory budgeting. Getting the point here? Almost the same thing what we saw earlier under motivational thinkers. Transformational leadership. They inspire and motivate beyond self-interest with vision and values. Transforming things. Large-scale reforms or change management. Example, bureaucrats leading digital governance reforms. Transactional leadership. Exchange of rewards for compliance, penalties for failure. Rule-bound, performance-measured tasks. Target-linked promotions in a revenue department. That is there. Income tax officers, etc. are generally given targets. Even GST departments are also given targets. They have to achieve that targets. Based on that, small rewards are given. Similarly, punishments are also given. Servant leadership. Serve others first. Lead through empathy and care. Community-centered governance. Panchayat leader prioritizing citizen welfare over politics. Or even IAS officers who try to work during what? COVID-19. Forgetting about their own safety and health. And few of them even died in that process. Leader-member exchange. Build different levels of trust with team members. You can use it for what? Managing diverse bureaucratic teams. High trust relations with senior officers for sensitive tasks. The 26/11's example, Hemant Karkare leading a team, small team, where Ashok Kamte and Vijay Salaskar were assisting him. NPM leadership, no surprises here. Entrepreneurial, efficiency-focused, performance-driven. You can use it in public-private partnerships, service delivery, innovation, city manager outsourcing waste management to private firms. This, as well as the fact that today, most of the cabs, sorry, not cabs, the vehicles used by government servants, they are all what? Outsourced. Cleaning staff in government departments, they are also outsourced to private contractors. Management Information System, MIS. Definition: the structured system that collects, processes, stores, and distributes information for decision making. Government e-office system. Like I told you, all the files are electronically placed. So you know you have entire control over all the information to take a decision. Purpose: it supports planning, control, and decision making by providing accurate and timely data. MIS in urban planning for real-time monitoring. Features: it has an integrated database. That means multiple datas are collated together, connected together. User-friendly interface, timely reports, decision support. Dashboard for monitoring welfare scheme progresses. Aspirational district program especially. Advantages: improves efficiency, transparency, quick access to data, faster grievance redressal in RTI applications. That is MIS system, if you have actually adopted, to be very honest and frank, you won't be requiring what? You won't be requiring RTI then. What are the limitations? Requires quality data, skilled staff, and strong cyber security, because the whole thing takes things online. Rural offices lacking trained staff face delays. Especially panchayat secretaries post etc. remains pretty vacant there. So it will take its own sweet time. The next in line is obviously PERT. Definition: it's a project management tool using probabilistic time estimates to plan and control tasks. Example: planning national vaccination drives. Because you don't know when it will get over, when it will get completed entirely. So when you're not very sure of the time, that is where you will use what? PERT. Purpose: handle projects with uncertain timelines. Say for example, infrastructure projects where material supply may vary. Key feature: there are 3 time estimate: optimistic, most likely, pessimistic. Estimating time for flood relief operations. Advantages: handles uncertainty, improves scheduling, identifies the critical tasks. For example, managing smart city project timelines. What are the limitations? Obviously, it's time consuming because you don't have all the data, and it is all subjective estimates. That means it only encourages further delay. Inaccurate inputs may distort project plans. Finally, CPM. Definition: it's a project management tool using deterministic time estimates to find the longest path in a project. Moving on. So moving on to CPM now, which talks about what? CPM basically talks about a critical path, which is the longest path in a project. Longest path, when you say, it simply means not actually duration wise, but every step, every process, everything you are taking into consideration. Getting the point here? Every step, every process. That is, for example, building metro rail corridors. Purpose: identify tasks that directly affect project completion time. What are the main areas, especially for metro projects, etc. If you take Bengaluru as an example, why is it that it is getting delayed? 2 reasons are there. One, obviously, the nature of the geology, the soil, the land, etc. Second thing is obviously getting the land acquired. Highway construction deadlines. Key feature: uses fixed activity durations, focuses on cost time trade-off. Estimating deadlines for public housing projects. Advantages: clear timeline is given, identifies critical tasks, aids resources allocation. That means it will literally find out in a project what are those areas where you are going to take more time. Ensures timely completion of election logistics. Limitations: less effective when durations are uncertain. That means where you don't know how much time it is going to take, then it is not going to work out for you. Getting the point here? Then you will have to rely on PERT. But when you're very sure, okay, it will work out, provided these areas are taken care of, then you can use CPM there. Delays in permits or funds can disrupt CPM schedule. Different types of budgeting. Outcome budgeting links funds to specific measurable outcomes, enhances transparency and accountability. That is, measurable outcomes it is there. Based on the outcome you are being given, the budget is designed. Zero-based budgeting. Each expenditure starts from zero and must be justified. That is, every year, everything starts from a fresh perspective. Eliminates wasteful spending. That is, if there is a centrally sponsored scheme which has outrun its uses, you basically stop spending money on it. Gender budgeting focuses on gender sensitive allocations and policies which promotes inclusive growth. That is putting up CCTV cameras, putting up street lights based on for ensuring what safety of women in public spaces. Green budgeting, environmental sustainability into budget decisions which will support climate goals. Medium term expenditure framework, multi-year rolling budget aligned with policy goals. Rolling budget means it is for more than 1 year. Same policy continues. It improves fiscal predictability. Participatory budgeting involves citizen in decision making, which enhances public trust, like social auditing of various schemes at panchayat and municipality level. PPBS, planning, programming, and budgeting system, integrates long term planning with budgeting, strategic allocation of resources based on that. Activity based budgeting, budgeting based on cost of activities rather than items, improves efficiency by linking resources to processes. Capital budgeting focuses on long term investment in infrastructure or assets, ensures sustainable asset creation. Each one of this, will they actually ask as a question? Very, very rare. Very rare it is, they'll ask sometimes. But just add a little bit of examples to this. Quickly try to, that is, if you get stuck somewhere, just read a little about it. Because maybe you will get that 1 10-marker question. So if there's 1 10-marker, if you don't know, at least you don't know the basics and at least you don't know a few examples, then it becomes troublesome. All right. So this, you do this exercise, especially towards the last slides and all, do this exercise only if you are very thorough with the initial thinkers, NPA, NPM, NPS, and finally NPG, new public governance, WhatsApp governance. You're clear with all those paradigms, clear with all the thinkers, then go for this, the final slides. Clear? If you're not thorough with the ones, please go through it again. All right, people. So that was it. Again, just to put up a mind map, I have given it here. What is traditional budgeting is only line item or incremental budgeting. Then you have performance-oriented budgeting, which comprises of performance budgeting, outcome budgeting, and zero-based budgeting. Modern, you have gender budgeting, green budgeting, medium-term expenditure framework, participatory budgeting, PPBS, activity-based budgeting, and then capital budgeting. All right, people. So with that, we come to an end of our paper 1. Paper 2, I will be taking it up, and most probably we'll get it uploaded tomorrow itself. All right. God bless you all. Take care.